And we want to update you here. We are watching a tornado-warned storm now west of Cedar Rapids. Most likely you're hearing tornado sirens if you're watching us from Iowa City, southern Lynn County, including Cedar Rapids, even the north side of Cedar Rapids. And here's what we're seeing on radar. The tornado-warned storm is actually just northwest of North English, near Millersburg. We were just talking about this actually just a couple minutes ago, and you can see now on radar on our tornado warning box, we're actually watching now a couple of storms as well. So what we're seeing is near Millersburg, near North English, just west of North English, that's where we're seeing the current section showing some areas of rotation. Then, as we look a little farther toward the north, that's where you're seeing more just a large tail, but still a threat for some rotation over Williamsburg, Parnell, also toward Conroy, Ledora. As you head farther toward the east, next cities in the path would be East Amana, West Amana, also Marengo, again, Oxford, Cosgrove, and we're seeing then Swisher eventually, then North Liberty, Iowa City, and Cedar Rapids. A very preliminary tornado warning across southern Lynn County and also Johnson County, but not for a bad reason, because we have seen some strong winds with this storm system, some strong areas of rotation as well. Right now, if you are watching us from Millersburg, you definitely want to be taking shelter immediately, especially if you happen to be just a couple miles west of the town area. So we're going to zoom in real quick there toward, again, Millersburg, and there is that region of rotation that we're seeing. Again, you look toward Millersburg, and there's the inflow notch, and that's what we're looking for on these large-scale storm systems as we look for the tornado-warned section. Now, we've just had a couple new warnings now issued, and we're going to pan a little farther toward the north here and head just north of Waterloo. So now, a new warning issued, just including the Janesville area north of Waterloo, north of Cedar Falls. You can see Finchford, North Cedar. Those areas now starting to show some areas of rotation. We're going to pan a little bit further off toward the north there, and you can see what's been going on. Again, there's Millersburg, and then as we look a little farther toward that far northern cell, I should say, east of New Hartford, south of Janesville, that's where we're seeing the area of rotation there. So it just indicated we're looking at this region, this circled area on your screen there, including Janesville, Finchford, and areas east of that to see some of these storms. We're going to put a storm tracker real quick on this storm system, as this one and all of these storms are moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Janesville, 2:48 p.m., Denver, 2:58 p.m., and then toward Artesian and Bremer, 3:01, 3:03 p.m., and then all the way northeast toward Reedland at 3:07 p.m., continuing northeast after that. So that's one storm. We also have a new storm toward the far northeast, just northwest of Cresco. So if you're watching us from Cresco, you should be in the clear. We'll continue to watch that storm as we head through these next couple of hours. And again, if you're watching us from Lynn County, Johnson County, areas west, Iowa, Keokuk County, that's where we're seeing the current batch of tornado-warned storms in southeastern and kind of east central Iowa, making its way toward the northeast. So Millersburg, again, you're starting to see that area of rotation making its way in. We're getting some updated information now as well. Still seeing, again, actually now we're just starting to see an unverified report, though, from a very experienced storm spotter near Ledora of a brief touchdown 2 miles northwest of Ledora. So we're watching that storm. That's the tornado-warned storm that is currently headed into southern Lynn County and Johnson County, and is currently over Iowa and Keokuk County. So watching that one very closely, again, that's about 7 miles northwest of Marengo that they saw the reported tornado, and that is a storm spotter that we have experienced with in our area, who is actually a very experienced storm spotter with some very trustworthy reports. So we're not really going to question that right now, and we're just going to go with that for, again, the time being. You can see Justin kind of panning in and zooming on Ledora right there, and that's where we saw that report. So we're watching over the next couple of hours here, and the next half hour or so, as we start to see some of these develop.
Yeah, these are really kind of developing quick, and they bring a lot of energy to the table, Aaron. If we could, I want to run to our weather computer real quick. Let's do a quick rundown of all the counties and the tornado warnings. Let's start with one we were just talking about in Benton, Iowa County. Tornado warning until 3:30 this afternoon. That does include the Benton, Belle Plaine area. We go over to Lynn County, does include Cedar Rapids till 3:30, Johnson and Iowa counties till 3:45, and all eyes right now on that Johnson County and Iowa County area. Back down to the south, too, into Keokuk County. That's the storm system that we've been watching off towards the south. And this branches all the way up to the north to Black Hawk and Bremer counties until 3:15 this afternoon. So again, as we look at that radar, we go back to the radar real quick. We kind of notice here a lot of signatures of just some of those strong winds. We've kind of been monitoring this. Really, this storm cell itself is pretty infantile yet, with about an hour of development thus far, but it has plenty of activity and plenty of energy that it's bringing. And it's very muggy here, and so these storms have plenty to feed on this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. And something that just came down just as we were just talking right now, they extended that storm system that was tornado warned just a little bit ago, that was on the northern edge. What we started to see was that storm system then again becoming, again, a little bit more rotating once more. So they've extended another tornado warning now. That includes Blairstown, areas just north of Marengo, up northeast toward Newhall, Norway, Shellsburg, even including Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, Robbins, Marion. So that area now under the newest tornado warning. That's on the northern cell of 2 that we're watching across our area. I just zoomed out here so you're going to see both of them. You notice Cedar Rapids, Iowa City on the eastern edge of these tornado warnings, stolen there. Also hills south of Iowa City. But you can also see then under the gun right now, areas around North English, Millersburg, Parnell. Take shelter if you're in those areas right now. And then as we pan toward the north, the northern cell puts it in between Blairstown and Marengo, also near Costa, again, east of Belle Plaine. So Belle Plaine right now out of the storm. But if you're watching us from just east of Belle Plaine and you do have the storm approaching, one of the areas of rotation is actually moving in over you right now as well. So right now we're going to put a couple of roads on here to indicate if you're around the area just what you're seeing. Again, County Road V66 under some of the rotation. And we'll zoom in actually a little closer to this northern cell here. And here's kind of what we're seeing near Dayton, F15 Boulevard, near Costel, 130th Street. Also a little south of that, 138th Street, and then just west of Marengo, 212th Boulevard. All areas right now that if you live along those in between Costel, Marengo, Dayton areas, again, take shelter right there. And then as we pan back toward the south, again to the southern cell that we've already seen now, a report of a tornado on the ground from this one. That includes Millersburg, Parnell, North English. And again, we can see some of these roads around that area still showing, again, areas under that area of rotation. So 325th Street near Millersburg, F52 Trail, it looks like, and then that continues west of Millersburg, and then H Avenue that goes through Millersburg to areas just west of North English.
Now, if you're here in Cedar Rapids, you are, of course, hearing the sirens, and these are sounding throughout Lynn County, Iowa County, and Benton County as well. No threat as of right now in Cedar Rapids proper. But this is, again, kind of emergency management protocol to sound the sirens because you want people to be very well aware. And this is a very active weekend for folks to be outside, graduation parties. So we need to be very sky aware as to what's kind of going on around us, especially in that Iowa-Benton County area. And the reason they've issued this tornado warning for Lynn County and Johnson County is because that storm track brings it right through. Right, it's going to pass, if it keeps the current track here, right in between Iowa City, North Liberty, and up towards the north and east, as well as Cedar Rapids. And this is just the southern storm system. There's another one up to the north we're going to mention here shortly, but let's bring the storm tracker on here around the Watkins area, 301, Norway 306, Atkins at 315, Fairfax 317, the Covington area, Cedar Hills. So again, if it keeps its current track, it will start sneaking its way into Lynn County within the next half hour or so. So we're not on the air to really scare you, but to kind of prepare you because we know a lot of folks are out and about this weekend. And that's why we're on the air, and that's why what we're doing here on Fox 28 and on CBS 2. So with that, we're going to turn it over. Aaron, go ahead and run us through the storm track.
Yeah,
let's take a look at the northern storm as
well.
Yeah,
we're going to take a quick look at the southern one, then we're going to pan north. 259 Parnell, again, Holbrook, Wyndham, Oxford, Cosgrove, all within the next 20 minutes or so. Definitely make sure, and especially if you're near the Parnell area, take shelter immediately. Then after that, within about 5 to 10 minutes if you live east of there, again, be taking shelter. Now, again, the storm now continuing to develop north of Waterloo. Again, Waverly, Denver now seeing that area. We're going to put a storm tracker on this one as well, starting in the Janesville area, going northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So Denver, right about now, again, be taking shelter. Artesian, Middle, Riedland, Wapsie, Tripoli, Minor, Spring Fountain, again, within the next half hour, but especially Denver, Artesian, and Middle, and Riedland, again, within the next 10 minutes or so. Definitely make sure you're taking shelter. If not, immediately you're under that tornado warning, and particularly Janesville right now, please be in your safe zone, again, in your house. Head to the basement, head to an interior room without windows and without things that could be projectiles. as well. Here's your tornado safety tips again to keep in mind. Basement, cellar, closet, hallway, bathroom, anything like that. Again, you just want to get away from anything that could hurt you. Should the winds blow, again, strong winds break windows, so you'll get glass shards. If you're in an interior room but it has sharp objects in it, don't go into that. Again, head into the basement, head to an area of your basement that there's not things that could be blown into you by the wind.
And it's very prudent to mention also here, Aaron, not only the tornadic threat, but really the strong winds, as well as some of those larger reports of hail. We've gotten reports of hail in excess of an inch. Some spots. Go ahead, Aaron, if you've got something more.
We just got some information. There's actually a funnel cloud that's been spotted near the Cedar Falls area, 5 miles northwest of Cedar Falls.
That would be into Black Hawk County. So let's kind of sneak over back to the south a little bit. Right about, again, that would be part of that cell right there that we're watching around the Janesville area and kind of towards the Waverly Junction. So right on that line between Bremer and Black Hawk County, kind of rolling, just for bearing's sake, get your bearings straight, kind of rolling right along 218. So, whereabouts in, Cedar Falls here?
It's showing report? 5 miles west-northwest of Cedar Falls.
Okay.
I would put it kind of basically right in between New Hartford and Cedar Falls and Janesville and Cedar Falls from what I'm seeing.
So it's, okay, and we're going to look at that. So it almost kind of looks like, yeah, right about what we're seeing, at least on the radar here, kind of that little cell that's extending south towards Janesville, right about there. So there's your Cedar Falls, kind of the Cedar City, some of the smaller areas that show up on our radar, are right about there on 218. Again, very active weekend, and that's the reason we're on the air here, folks. We know a lot of folks are out and about today, and if you do hear a warning for your area, it might be a good idea to pick up the phone and call the neighbors, call the relatives who you know might be out and about. A lot of graduation parties this weekend, so that's one of those reasons we're here on the air. Let's do a reset real quick as we get closer to the top of the hour here. Let's run back to the weather computer if we could really quick and kind of take a look at those watches and warnings and those safety tips. We'll get to those safety tips in a second, but the storm we're watching with the reports of the funnel not confirmed, but there are spotters seeing that right there between northern Black Hawk into Bremer County. That tornado warning will extend until 3:15 this afternoon up towards Bremer County. So again, Waverly, Janesville, Shell Rock, Cedar Falls, as we talked about, the Black Hawk County area, New Hartford, the Dike area as well. Folks need to get into your safe zones right now, your safety areas. Let's go down to the south. This other system we're watching around Benson and Iowa counties until 3:30 this afternoon, and that is all part of that cell. We did have, and refresh my memory, Aaron, at least one report of an unconfirmed touchdown just outside of that Marengo area, correct?
Yeah, that's right, near Parnell, if my memory is correct too. Also, actually, Justin, you see that if you put your fingers kind of the northern cell that we were watching that's just outside of our main viewing area over Howard County, near Riceville, they reported about 15 minutes ago now, a delayed report coming in of a tornado on the ground there as well. It looks like 3 miles east-northeast of Riceville. So,
yeah, right. You can see it right there between Riceville and back towards kind of the Lime Springs. And I do believe that's, Maple Leaf as well, and the Elma area as well. So let's do this. Let's use the radar for what it's intended for. Let's put a storm track on this. We'll start in the north and we'll move down to the south. We've got 3 different cells we're going to watch here, folks, to give you kind of an idea of how active we are this afternoon. Let's start out with that latest report of an unconfirmed funnel around the Riceville area. So that would, with this storm moving up towards the north and east at about 40 to 45 miles an hour?
I'm calling it about 45 miles per hour. Some of the upper level winds should push them at about that speed.
So that would put that storm system in the north around that Howard County area, towards Leroy as well as the Chester area by about 3 o'clock here. So just about 5 minutes from now, as well as York, back towards some of the other areas, Bristol, as well as Garner as well. So some of those areas, and that's just the storm system to the north, friends. We have got a couple more we're watching. You can see all the activity right down there around the Riceville area, back towards the south. Very strong winds reported with this. Lots of hail reported as well. Again, these storms essentially just formed out of nothing, and they have plenty of energy to bring to the table here. So again, our tornado warning that continues for far northern parts of the viewing area. This will extend or stay in effect through at least 3:15 this afternoon. Aaron, if you would, let's take me down to the south here and talk about that system that we're watching working its way across I-80 around the Marengo area, back along Highway 6.
I will pan back down toward the south again. If you're watching us from that area, there's the Janesville storm. We're going to continue to head farther south, back down to this far southern tornado-warned storm, including Williamsburg, North English area. And that's the one that we're watching very closely. That one's on a track that would put it toward potentially the southern areas of Lynn County also, though, including Iowa City, North Liberty, Swisher, those areas making its way northeast. The area of strongest rotation then showing up just over the Millersburg area. So if you're watching us from Millersburg, some big concerns there. You can see it kind of in between Millersburg and Parnell right there.
And Aaron, I'm just getting word in my ear. We actually had a spotter call in just a couple of minutes ago that there was a touchdown that they also saw around the Costa area, which would be around that kind of Marengo area back up towards the north. So let's just kind of move up there a little bit here and kind of show you some of the lay of the land around there's, you can see Conroy back down towards Williamsburg, Marengo just up a little bit further towards the north, and the west here along Highway 6, west of Manna, east of Manna, back towards the Homestead area. So this is slowly but surely working its way towards the north and east, and that is why we do have the current tornado watch in effect for multiple locations across the viewing area, the north, the central, and back down towards the south. Having said that, let us go to the watches and warnings real quick and do a reset. Aaron, if you can get us queued up, let's take a look at some of the hail within this as well. If you can pull that up for us. Let's start in the north, that storm system where we've had the reports of the touchdowns around Riceville, back towards the north and east. That would be for the Howard County area till 3:45 this afternoon. That does include Riceville. That includes portions of our viewing area around the Charles City area, kind of close to that vicinity, up towards Cresco. It is moving off towards the north and east at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. We go a little further south. The second cell we're watching is around the Bremer County area. That does include Waverly, Janesville, with reports of touchdowns around northern parts, Cedar Falls, a bit further north between Cedar Falls and working its way in towards Bremer County. That until 3:15. That does include Blackhawk County. Our third cell we're watching till 3:45 this afternoon, the tornado warning for Benton County as well as Lynn County till 3:30 this afternoon. We've heard the siren sound here in Lynn County and Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Johnson, and Keokuk counties back down towards the south. Aaron, go ahead.
Just got a new update here from a National Weather Service employee reporting a tornado now 3 miles northwest of North English. And that was just a few minutes ago. So right now we have you on hail tracker, and there's definitely some large hail out of that. But we're going to zoom in real quick back to the storm system. Again, there it is, and we're zooming in over North English. That's where we're seeing one. What Justin was just talking about is actually this northern separate tornado warning near Marengo. We've seen a report now come in of a tornado as well. So, touchdown near Marengo, touchdown near North English. All of these storms now moving northeast, as Justin and I have been talking about, at close to 40, 45 miles per hour. So if you're watching us from North English, especially just north of North English, including the Millersburg, Parnell area, definitely be taking shelter. We also saw a report within the last couple of minutes of a tornado near Parnell. So most likely this area of rotation, that's the area that's strongest. You can kind of see it there as we put our velocities there on radar, is the area in between North English and Parnell. So if you are watching us from that area, please be taking shelter right now. Again, we'll throw on a couple of these roads onto the map again. We've been talking a lot about F-22 Trail and kind of over the Parnell area, and then we'll try to put this road here near North English, 335th Street. So if you're in between F-52 Trail and 335th Street in that area, please, again, be taking shelter outside, or inside, I should say, over these next couple of minutes. So what we're going to see again, lots of hail out of this storm system. We'll put on a couple of these estimated hail sizes near Williamsburg. Looks like 1 inch to 1.5 inches of hail most likely coming out of the storm system in some of the more average areas. So don't be surprised to see some damaging hail with this, damaging wind, not just the tornado threat, although the tornado threat definitely is the most dangerous threat on hand right now. And there it is again. So over the last couple of minutes, we saw the confirmed tornado then near North English. So we're looking for that storm then to continue to move toward the east, making its way northeast at close to 40 miles per hour. So over the next couple of minutes here, if you are watching us from Parnell, as we've been talking about over the last few minutes, please again take shelter immediately. Also near Holbrook, 3:11 p.m. That's when that tornado warned storm makes its way toward the east. And then also near Windham, 3:24 p.m. Again, continuing its trek toward the east. And you notice on that eastern fringe, something of major concern are some of these even larger cities than what the storm has already made its way over. You can see Iowa City on the far eastern edge there, North Liberty, Fairfax. Again, and then toward the northern cell, you can see, including the northern sections of Cedar Rapids, and then also the Hiawatha area, Marion areas encompassed, Newhall, Marengo, again, all under this tornado warning over these last couple of minutes. So very dangerous storm out there. We'll send it back over to Justin for some more updates too.
All right, Aaron, thank you. With that, we are just at 2 minutes after 3 o'clock. Good afternoon, Justin Roberts, along with Aaron Schaefer and the First Warning Weather team here, keeping you up to date as we have a very active afternoon that's really just taken shape over the last 20 minutes or so. So as we join you on Fox 28 and on KGAN CBS 2, let's run through the tornado warnings, why we are on the air currently. Starting in the north, Howard County, tornado warning until 3:45. Touchdowns reported around Riceville, back towards the north and east. This includes the Cresco area and points up, kind of heading towards Decorah in the Winnebago County area. Storm moving off towards the north and east at about 45 miles an hour. In Bremer County, tornado warning until 3:15 this afternoon. Had reports of touchdowns between Cedar Falls and up towards the Janesville area. So we're continuing to keep our eyes on that system. That's until 3:15. Towards the south, the reason you here in Cedar Rapids have heard those tornado sirens is there is a tornado warning. Nothing reported in Cedar Rapids yet. However, this is a county-wide procedure getting ready to prepare you that now you do need to start thinking about getting to your safe place, getting to your tornado shelter. And the reason being, we have a very active storm complex around Benton and towards the Iowa counties that has spun off some funnels and reported touchdowns around the Iowa county back towards Benton County. Tornado warnings continue for both until 3:30 this afternoon. In the southern part of the viewing area, till 3:45, Keokuk County this afternoon, and of course the Johnson County till 3:45, including North Liberty, Iowa City, Solon as well. It's prudent to mention our storm safety tips. Again, we do have multiple reports of touchdowns in the area. And again, a reminder, because this has really been our first kind of jump in towards severe weather this spring, you do need to take shelter in your basement or cellar. If a basement or cellar is not feasible where you are, you need to get into a closet, a hallway, or a bathroom. As many walls between you and the approaching storm system as possible. Try to eliminate locations with glass, with windows. If that's impossible, take a blanket, head to the hallway or bathroom, and get as flat as you can. Cover yourself with a blanket or pillow, and kind of listen for the all clear. We're live on the air here on Channel 2 and on Fox 28, as well as our radio partners down in the Iowa City and the corridor area, 1630 KCJJ, joining us continuously as well for this tornado coverage. And we will be here until the all clear is sound throughout the afternoon hours. Having said that, if there is something you're seeing, if you have spotted something, alert your local law enforcement by dialing 911, or get a hold of the National Weather Service, or give our newsroom a call, 1-800-222-KGAN, if you are seeing something in your area, if you have hail, if you have reports of strong winds, if you have seen a funnel cloud, alert the authorities first, your local law enforcement first, and then pass on the information, as it's a very active setup this afternoon. And there's the radar. Aaron, we're watching just kind of multiple cells here throughout the afternoon, across the north, across the south. And I actually want to start up in the south and kind of work our way back down here to Cedar Rapids, as the latest report was those touchdowns around the Riceville area and kind of back up towards the north and east. So let us look up around
here,
center point.
I'll pan over for you, make it a little easier for you there. So there's the one near Reedland. There's the northern cell now trying to make its way out of Iowa. You can see it there northwest of Cresco, though. Kind
of right on the line there around Lime Springs, back towards Davis Centers. Maple Leaf, this storm moving off towards the north and the east, with that tornado warning continuing through the 3 o'clock hour for Howard County this afternoon. So things are starting to move out of the picture there. And then we turn our attention towards the south as we look around the Fredericksburg area, Topola now, into that Bremer County area as this cell kind of moves its way off towards the north and east. Reports around earlier with this system, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the one that was responsible for those touchdowns around the Cedar Falls area.
This one was actually the funnel cloud.
Okay.
Funnel cloud sighted near about 5 miles northwest of Cedar Falls. Right now over Denver and just west of Reedland are the areas I'm most concerned about on radar here.
And that would be kind of right here along, as you can see, Reedland, Denver. That's one of those major highways. You can see those highways we've noted here. There's Reedland. Let's go back to the south and take a look at what's going on as you kind of look at the Denver area. It has kind of moved through the Janesville and Waverly area now, but let's focus our attention around Denver, back towards the north. We can see around, I do believe that's Ahern. Is that correct, Aaron? Am I seeing that right? Ahern or whatever?
Looks like Artesian.
Artesian. I apologize. Artesian. And up towards Topola. And notice right here, just below Topola, right down around the Wapsie area as well. That would denote some stronger winds as well. So we've had strong winds reported, but the big one here is as these storms initialize, Aaron, just a lot of reports of funnel clouds and some touchdowns. With this, No touchdowns with this cell here in central parts around Black Hawk and Bremer County. Then we shift our focus further south as we look around the Parnell area, back towards Williamsburg as well. That storm system as well. As we take a look at that one, you can take us down there around Benton and Iowa
we'll
counties.
take you back down.
And that's the one we're going to kind of keep our eyes on as we look towards Cedar Rapids as it starts heading its way towards us.
Yeah, this one's the one that's had both of these cells. They kind of look a little bit messy right now, but you can see if you look closely, there's two separate red boxes there. That's one of the newer developments with the National Weather Service. You have separate tornado warnings even within the same county. So the northern cell includes Newhall, Norway right now under the tornado warning. That one making its way northeast. We've seen it already produce a tornado near Marengo. And then the southern cell, including Williamsburg, Parnell, Green, just north of Green.
And I'm going to jump in right there. Just getting a report, Parnell, law enforcement reporting wind damage, power lines down throughout the town, and egg-sized hail in Williamsburg as of 3:06. So about 3 minutes ago, egg-sized hail in Williamsburg.
Yeah, that's
unheard of. That's just absolutely amazing with a storm like that. We do have a photo of that. Okay, do you have that pulled up for us? Brittany Hibbs joins us now at the anchor desk. Brittany, we do have a picture of that hail, so let's take the scan do if we can there in the booth. And there you can see that's a full-size flashlight. Where do these pictures come from?
These are coming in from west of Williamsburg. And this was just sent in a few minutes ago.
Okay.
So you can see their golf ball-sized hail they're reporting there. You can see when it's put up against that flashlight, it really shows you how big those pieces are.
All right. Well, thanks, Brittany. We're going to continue to probably see some more of these hail pictures, storm pictures, things like that coming in. We're going to keep Brittany around, hopefully, to talk to more of those people and check out more of those pictures. And Justin and I are continuing to watch these storms on radar here. Right now, we're zoomed in on Holbrook, Williamsburg, Parnell on radar. And that's because that's the area right now of most concern with this southern cell. We're seeing the strongest areas of rotation. So if you're over Williamsburg, Parnell, Holbrook right now taking shelter, but also North English, we still see that little tailing edge there coming in from the west. So we're kind of watching this whole mess of a storm making its way toward the east. The rain edge now starting to edge into Swisher, Oxford, North Liberty. You might be seeing some light rain starting up now on kind of the front edge of the storm. The rotating edge is still a bit farther back, but this is kind of your warning right now, again, that we're not just kind of messing around here with this storm. It's actually as a history, I should say, of producing a tornado earlier near the Williamsburg area.
And again, reports coming in. Luckily, no structural damage, but there are strong winds as we take us up towards the Black Hawk County area there, Aaron. We have the winds excess 60 plus miles an hour. Just a report as of about 4 minutes ago. That was around, if I do believe that was kind of that storm that we were watching in Bremer County. And we also are looking at, again, the power lines down in that Parnell area as well. So that's just about 6 miles south. So two different storms, just one up here to the north we're looking at, like right now on the radar.
This one's showing some signs, too, over the last couple of radar runs here of really intensifying, becoming a little bit more well-defined. You can see, we're going to look real quick here at
especially just north of their Artesian, kind of back towards Tripola is what we're going to keep an eye on.
So take a look right there, just in between Artesian and Tripola. We added on this radar scope there that shows inbound winds. So these are winds coming toward the radar, and then these red winds are actually winds going away from the radar. Notice how you have inbound and outbound winds right next to each other. That's when you get the rotation in a storm. That's when you see the potential for a tornado. That's what we do not want to be seeing. So again, if you're in Artesian right now, be in your basement right now, be in your safe zone. If you're east of Artesian, now we just got a new updated radar scan. Again, Tripoli now, seeing some of the areas that are most ominous making their way overhead. Springs Fountain, Sumner, and then also north of Reedland. Reedland's most
kind of almost working its way, Aaron, along Highway 93 really as it cuts through that Bremer County area, kind of heading back towards Fayette County the way it looks at this point.
Yeah, really not a good track for this storm to be going.
Let's see if we can ID some of the roads here. Let's see, heading in towards Sumner, the road that kind of connects the two. There's 140th Street. Some of those smaller roads, 150th Street around the Tripola area. That road we were just mentioning, again, that one that kind of runs from Tripola towards Sumner, that would be 93. That continues to work its way through there. And we've been watching this system itself really intensify. Reports earlier of funnel clouds as it was over Black Hawk and Bremer County, continuing to move its way up towards the north and east. So we're going to zoom it out here just a touch. We'll put a storm tracker on this one, and we've got some updates, including our chief meteorologist, Mace Michaels, is down in the Williamsburg area, kind of taking a peek at that storm. So first, the tracker for this northern cell, then we'll go to Mace, and we'll take a look at our Williamsburg cell as well. With this storm moving up towards the north and east at about 40 to 45 miles an hour, that would be around Cipolla right about 3:16, so about 4 or 5 minutes from now, it'll really intensify. Around the Spring Fountain, as Aaron mentioned, 322, Sumner at 329, Richfield at 336, Alpha as it crosses into Fayette County at 340, 342 Hawkeye, Randalia at 344. This is a very, very active system. We'll show you the watches and warnings real quick, then we'll go to Mace and we'll go back to the radar. The one we were just watching is that continued tornado warning till 3:15 this afternoon for Bremer County, and we go towards the north until 3:45. But Aaron, I kind of believe at this point, as that storm system that works its way through Howard County starts to cross over the border, I think we're going to see that one expire here in the next 10 minutes or so, because most of the energy looks like it's kind of starting to cross over that Iowa-Minnesota border at this point.
Right now, we're going to see one of these tornado-warned storms make its way farther toward the north, and then you still have those other three going across eastern Iowa. So it's been a very busy afternoon so far for us here.
And then we kind of focus our attention now, and this is where we'll check in with Mace here in about 20 seconds, into Lynn as well as Benton and Iowa counties back towards the south, watching that system around the around the Williamsburg area, the one that's been responsible for all the downed power lines back around the Parnell area. We go to Chief Meteorologist Mace Michaels, who's kind of out there on the road right now. Mace, let's check with you. What are you seeing as you're kind of traveling around looking at this storm system from the ground up?
Well, right now, Justin, we're coming in from the north and east side. I mean, you can see the lower cloud base, obviously, but we're still a ways away from the area that you've been talking about around Parnell and south of Williamsburg. We're coming up on the Kelowna and Oxford exit right now. And obviously, a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. It's very deep and dark back to our west. Not much rain yet, but again, we're kind of out ahead of it right now.
How about hail reports? We've gotten reports earlier of the strong winds in Parnell and in some spots almost 2-inch egg-sized hail around Williamsburg. Have you seen any of that as that storm heads your way?
No, we're kind of in the dead zone right now. So no, I'm not seeing anything in the way of hail. We're kind of on the west and I should say southeast and eastern side. So we're kind of underneath it.
Okay. Good enough, and we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Aaron, anything new? I know we've been kind of keeping our eyes on this one as it rolls further off towards the north and east. And it looks like it's still kind of keeping its 45-mile-an-hour speed, kind of almost straight line south and west towards the north and east at this point.
Yeah, it really does seem to. All it's changed in its structure over the last couple of minutes is that it just kind of looks more like a messy glob on radar. There are still a couple areas we're keeping under concern. You see right now all those blinking lightning flashes. Where they're kind of centrally located is in between Williamsburg and Oxford on your screen right there. That's where the most lightning is. A lot of times that's where the strong rotation occurs too, and that's a big part of why we show you some of this on our screen there. And so what we're kind of seeing right now, and I'm going to zoom in real quick here into that area in between Williamsburg and Oxford, and what we're going to see is, again, the area of most concern. So we're going to put on, again, some of these scopes here to check out some of the wind speeds around the area, and what we're seeing, again, from the inbound and outbound winds showing some signs of rotation. So again, east of Williamsburg, over Williamsburg right now. You should be taking shelter. This storm system near North English produced a tornado as seen even by a National Weather Service employee as well. So still watching some of these storms across the area. Lots of large hail that we've been hearing now. Again, as we were just talking about the egg-sized hail. So you've got hail, you've got high winds where there isn't a tornado, and we have that possibility of a tornado. Also something of note, seeing some of the reflectivity increasing, some of the intensifying of the storm, could indicate, too, that eventually the storm could become rain-wrapped if it does produce a tornado. This is even more dangerous, so you wouldn't actually be able to see it. So again, please don't be going outside to look for these storms. This is when you want to be taking shelter right now, and then we'll just continue to watch some of them, update you where the strongest areas of rotation are located.
We have, Aaron, and hopefully we can get them on the phone here shortly, the folks from Iowa Chase, who've been kind of sitting in Tama and watching this cell throughout the afternoon and evening. They kind of saw about a half hour, 45 minutes ago as this storm just started to initialize around the Williamsburg and kind of back towards that Tama area. About an inch of hail sustained for about 5 minutes as it worked its way in towards Tama County. We'll get those guys on the phone here shortly, but let's do a quick reset. As it is 3:17 right now, continuous live severe weather coverage from the First Warning Forecast Center on Fox 28, on CBS 2, on our radio partners, 1630 KCJJ AM in the Coralville, Iowa City area. So if you are unable to see the television, or if you do need to travel out somewhere, tune the radio into AM 1630. We'll keep you up to date there as well. As expected, that tornado warning that was in effect for Howard County has expired at 3:15 here, and now until 3:45, Bremer County. That's the one that we're keeping an eye on that continues to kind of intensify around that Tripola area and work its way up towards Sumner, back towards Hawkeye and Reedland as it crosses into Fayette County. So I do believe if this storm holds its own, I'm thinking probably northern Fayette County in towards Winnebago County will probably be the next to get that tornado warning. Aaron.
And I just got some updated information now from a state trooper now in Tripoli. Just a couple minutes ago saw a funnel quickly form, quickly dissipate. So it is, as it's been intensifying, it has been showing that signs of a really cycling storm out there. And that's what we're looking for with this storm, is it really has shown an increase in intensity, at least on radar. But then once you start to see those reports of funnel clouds being sighted, that gives you the sign that the storm really is cycling. They kind of go in life cycles. So they'll come in, they'll form a funnel cloud or a tornado, then they'll dissipate, and then they'll sometimes strengthen. And that kind of fits with what we've been seeing on radar here over the last couple of minutes there. And Justin's kind of moving around there. We'll kind of pan back up for you
there we go.
And show you that stronger storm. There it is. There's Tripoli right under that little notch, that little hook on the backside of the storm system.
And look at all the cloud to ground lightning around that Tripola area as well in towards Bremer County. So again, Tripola, folks around the Sumner area, if you haven't already, you will hear those sirens continuously sound. And then we're going to keep our eyes on this one. Lots of, again, the indicative indicator right there, some of those stronger winds around Tripola as well. And again, as Aaron just mentioned, from the State Patrol, again, that was funnel clouds up there around that Tripola area, Aaron?
Yeah, they saw a funnel cloud form, then it dissipated, so that's good news, but it's still worrisome news because we don't want to see it producing anything like that. So that was a trooper reporting that, and it fits right where we'd expect it too.
And there you can see, we're going to zoom out just a little bit here. We're zoomed awfully close here. You can actually see some of those roadways. Let's zoom out just a touch here, back around the Tripola area as we kind of look more so now towards Cedar, or rather Spring Fountain, and up towards Sumner. So again, on the backside of the storm, some stronger winds that extend down to the south and the east. We have Mace on the phone. Let's jump down towards the Williamsburg area as well. He's been tracking that secondary system that's down there, kind of bringing some of the stronger winds and the rain and some reports of funnel clouds as we look just towards the east of Cedar Rapids, south and west of Cedar Rapids. Aaron Mace, we're going to grab the radar here and fly around, and as we do that, just kind of set the scene for us as you guys are working your way towards the Williamsburg area and back towards Parnell.
Sure. Well, we're actually at the Amana Colonies exit now, and with the way the structure is and what you've been talking about on air as well, we kind of busted through the rain core. We have our stream up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it as of yet. Again, I've got, a pretty lowered cloud base, but there's no rotation on anything right now. We had some pretty decent sized hail, maybe an inch in diameter, a little more than that, a couple of the stones, but not a lot of hailstones. Just a lot of heavy rain, but I can see the lower cloud base in the backside. We're kind of on the northwestern side, so I don't have a good vantage point as of yet. Just a lot of clouds dipping down, but nothing rotating by any means right now, Justin.
All right, Mace, thank you for that. And again, as Aaron, as we're sitting here in the forecast, and we're going to move the radar just a touch here and zoom it out, we do want to mention that we've had reports. So this is not just a tornadic threat. Yes, that kind of takes the cake on a day like this, but there are multiple other threats here. We've heard reports of 2-inch diameter hail, about egg-sized hail, strong winds, lots of lightning as well. So we will continue to do that. And you know what? If you have pictures, we're going to go to Brittany here in about 45 seconds. She's at the anchor desk with some of those pictures and some of that hail that we've seen out of this storm system around Williamsburg. Let us know about it. And news at KGAN.com, weather at KGAN.com. And we're just getting something, kind of getting more updates. Lots of reports of funnels out of this. Kind of three-faceted system, Aaron, as we look at it. We're kind of focusing right now. The main focus is on this Williamsburg back up towards North Liberty and Swisher area. So, folks in North Liberty, you folks there, be prepared. The winds are going to kick up. We would assume within the next little bit, if they have not done so already, those sirens are going to sound. The skies off to your east are going to blacken up, and the rain, the strong winds, and yes, that threat for inch to almost 2-inch hail will be at your doorstep as well. So start thinking about your severe weather plan as well as we see this tornado warning continue for a fair chunk, a very good chunk of the viewing area, and some, unfortunately, most of the populated parts of the viewing area throughout the afternoon and evening. So we'll run through the watches, we'll run through the warning as well, we'll check in with Brittany, and then we're going to go back to the radar here shortly. Let's do the watches and warnings first, and we do have some new pictures coming in. Keep those coming, news at kgan.com. Here you can see one of them. And Aaron kind of set the scene. This is a very common sight across the viewing areas. We'll see that picture coming up here again, but some of those bubbly clouds, like right there, kind of shows us some of that strong winds aloft as that storm system kind of starts to move overhead.
Yeah, what happens with those, that's called the Mattis clouds, and you start to see that usually on the anvil section of the storm. So the storm forms, and that's where the area of rotation is. It rises, it hits kind of almost a cap on top of the storm system. So we're getting some new information here right now, so we're going to check that out.
Aaron, you do that. Let's do this as we're getting some new information here. It sounds like a brand new warning. And let's start out with Lynn County here in Cedar Rapids until 3:45, so another about 22 minutes. We'll have the tornado warning for Cedar Rapids, kind of off towards eastern parts of Lynn County. Benton County, that includes the Vinton area back towards portions of Belle Plaine till 3:45. Johnson County as well. Right now it continues to move in towards kind of far eastern or western parts of Johnson County till 3:45.
And that actually just got extended, Justin.
So they did extend it.
Yep, that was what that alarm was for.
Yeah, not surprised. And actually, we just got a brand new one here now. Cedar County until 4:15. That would include the Tiffin area back towards Clarence and portions of kind of the Tipton area. And brand new one, as we just mentioned. They're popping in fast and serious here, folks. We called it here about 5 minutes ago. Fayette County now. A tornado warning for you folks until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Let's jump right into it. 3D Doppler radar. Let's start in Johnson and Lynn counties. And there you can see that extension of the warning now in towards Cedar County till 4 o'clock. We're going to, right off the bat, put a tracker on this as we watch this storm system continue to move off towards the north and the east at about 45 miles an hour. So we'll kind of track it out here for you and let you know who's going to see what and when at 3:24, where we just checked in with Mace a little bit ago into the Amanas. So they should be getting some pretty wild and woolly weather at this point. 3:24, 3:29. And Booth, if you could, let's get Mace back on the phone if we could too. The Swisher area, 3:40. Cedar, or rather, Sioux Falls until 3:40. North Liberty, 3:44. So about 20 minutes for you folks until the really meat and potatoes of this storm system moves into portions of Lynn County, or into North Liberty rather. We have Twin View Heights and Ely, 3:47, 3:48 respectively. That's the storm system we've been watching. Look at the reports of the hail here as that hail zone continues to shift up towards the east. Inch and a half, up to 2-inch size hail. And we'll take you back to the radar and show you where all the lightning is as well. Numerous reports, counts of cloud-to-ground lightning as well. I want to go, and Aaron, you might be able to help me out here. Let's go up to northeast Iowa now as we watch that storm system around the Tripola area now starting to edge in towards Fayette County with the brand new tornado warning until 4 o'clock.
Yeah, let's just zoom right in there again. Sumner, Tripoli, east of Tripoli, that's where we're seeing again that little hook, that inflow of wind going on just west and southwest of Sumner, including Spring Fountain. Now over Sumner, again, just the latest radar scan just came in right as we're zooming in there. We're going to show you some of these colors here right now, those representing winds inbound, outbound near Sumner. That's where you see areas of strong rotation. So again, if you're over Sumner, Spring Fountain, areas within a couple miles of those two towns, head into your basement immediately if you haven't been there already.
And again, this continues to move off towards the north and east. Aaron, back that off real quick. Let's track this one as well as it starts to nudge in towards Fayette County. And not so far away, we'll probably see a warning issued for the Clayton County here as well. I'm going to take me back to the tracker real quick, so that tracker level.
Yeah,
so we take a look at that. And as we do that, Mace, we're getting another new warning in our ears here from the National Weather Service. So you were kind of watching this last report. You were around the Amanas, kind of heading down towards the south of this cell that's now spun off, or I should say extended new tornado warnings for Cedar County. Set the scene for us.
Well, we're just a little east now on one of the rural roads, 240th, just south of I-80. And we've had a little rotation, a little lower cloud base. I'm not sure what you're able to see of our stream right now because, of course, we're in rural country. But we've had that dipping down. I had a subtle wall cloud for a little bit, and I'm out here with David, and we just had a little bit of a spin up above us. The clouds are pretty low. We're not getting much for rotation. So I see what the Weather Service is saying. And you guys have been saying on the air as well. There's definitely a lot of spin going on up aloft, but we're just not seeing it down here at the ground yet. But the cloud bases are pretty low. We just don't have the classic wall cloud here as of yet, Justin.
All right, Mace, thank you for that. And as you mentioned to us, Mace, you're looking at this storm system that is now starting to edge in towards the North Liberty zone area, getting reports. North Liberty, the skies are starting to turn green off towards the east. A good friend of ours, Christian Leighton, who's now in the civilian world down in Iowa City, he's getting reports of some stronger winds as well. Pass on if you have reports as well, pass them on. news@kgan.com. We'll gladly take your pictures as well, as this storm system is just kind of a persnickety system that continues to move here. And one of the reasons is it's got so much energy, so much moisture right now. The conditions, think back to where we were a couple of years ago and we had a tornadic outbreak like this. The conditions are just about mirror image where we've seen those little peaks of sunshine through the morning, that moisture that built into the morning. We've had the hazy sunshine all morning as well. And now you can see it's all come to fruition as we see those storms continue to build. Again, all eyes on portions of Benton as well as Iowa in towards Lynn and Johnson counties now as the storm system. Luckily, no word or no reports as of late of funnel clouds, so that's a little bit of good news, but let's not get complacent here because this storm still has plenty of energy and not necessarily a tornadic threat, but the threat of those strong winds. 1.5 to 2 inch diameter hail as well. And the winds in excess 60, 70 miles an hour. Periods of heavy rain as well. So Aaron, with that, I'm going to step off screen and kind of take us, just kind of fly around with the radar starting where we are now and go up to the north and we'll address that watch and that tornado warning in northeast Iowa too.
Yeah, let's do it real quick right about where Mace was just showing us that live stream there again near Tiffin, Cosgrove, Oxford. That's an area where we're seeing a lot of wind coming into the storm, a strong inflow to the storm, which means that a lot of wind has to rotate to get back up to the top. A lot of rotating winds going on is why we have our tornado warning. So near Oxford, you can see the little notch we're talking about. There's the air going into the storm system. There it is coming out with that little bulge there. Again, so over Oxford, Cosgrove, areas just east of there. That's where we're seeing the main concern. And we've been putting on road maps here just a little bit, and we'll put on a couple more just in case you live near these areas north of Cosgrove. We'll try to get this more major road, and that's north of Cosgrove, 340th Street Southwest, 310th Street south of Oxford. That's one of those areas. So near Tiffin, again, you should be taking shelter. That's Highway 6. So a fairly major highway there, making its way again with that tornado warning overhead. We'll zoom out a little bit, give you a little more perspective over North Liberty right now. You should definitely be taking shelter. Because of these storm systems, they've become a little bit more just kind of discombobulated over the last hour or so, not showing the strong signs of what we're looking for, not strongly organized, but still showing little pockets of rotation. So west of Tiffin, you can see what we're looking at right there. We put on the radar scope. That's showing some wind coming in and out of the radar. Now, over the next couple of minutes, that will update and place the area of rotation in that section of the storm in between Tiffin and North Liberty, a little bit north of Tiffin. So we'll zoom in again a little closer there, and you can see some of the roads and areas impacted by that system. And that's just one area of concern because we still have these storms off toward the north. Again, as we pan back further toward the north near Fayette County, and you can see north of Fayette, one of the areas that's tornado warned.
Take a peek. Speaking of Fayette County, let's look on Highway 93, that system. Let's go just a little bit further east here, Schaefer. Sorry, further west. I apologize. Further west around Sumner. Right about here, about 7, 8 miles, 7 or 8 miles, kind of west of the Sumner area. Some reports, and we're kind of seeing on some of our news feeds here as well, that reports of some rotation in this area here as well, kind of rolling across Highway 93, kind of crossing from the Bremer into Fayette County areas. I'm not really quite seeing it at this point, but the Twitter and the Facebook's been all abuzz of people kind of seeing what they think are wall clouds and some rotation, but I don't quite see it here yet, from what it looks like anyway.
Yeah, some of the things we're seeing is very messy rotation in that storm now. It's changed a little bit. The last time we checked it, it was showing some good structure out there, the traditional supercell structure that we look for to produce a tornado. The areas right now, as I'm looking kind of off camera on a separate radar tool we have, it looks like near kind of north of Westgate over the Sumner area. And this is, let's see, this radar scan just a couple minutes old, west of Randalia. And then Hawkeye also, kind of those areas right now.
Kind of right along Highway 93, one of those main thoroughfares from Fayette over towards Sumner and back down towards the south and the west as it kind of rolls its way through. Let us go down and let's go down to the south just a little bit here as well, and then we're going to do a quick reset at the bottom of the hour here. So it's 3:32. We owe our stations that real quick. Let's zoom out a bit, and we'll talk to Mace again. And Mace, as we move the radar to where you are, it looks like the storm system down to the south is staying active, but kind of gaining more intensity now as we look towards the north and east as well. Let's check in with you as you're down to the south, kind of working away with that messy system between Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and North Liberty right now.
Yeah, sure. We busted through the hail a little bit earlier on when we were on with you. The hail, again, a few stones maybe up to an inch in diameter, just a lot of heavy rain. And now we're back in behind the system as we're kind of creeping on in behind us. We've been watching here on the far southern side, the areas you've been talking about, south and near Williamsburg, and of course west of Iowa City. And from what you're able to see on the screen, obviously we have a pretty low base of clouds, but there's been no signs of any rotation with it. Nothing with the way of funnel clouds for a while coming out of it. We had one brief little funnel that kind of came down and went back up. But this isn't really looking that organized down here on this side. Of course, you've been watching the north side and getting a lot more in the way of rain, heavy rainfall, and hail coming out of that part. Here right now, if there was going to be a tornado, it would be down, I think, on this side of the storm where we are on its backside. But spin must be up aloft. We're not seeing anything down here in the ground right now.
Yeah, we can kind of look at that. Just a very ugly picture from your stream right now on the Road Warrior around that Williamsburg area. Just for clarification, what road are you? And do you guys have kind of any idea what road you're on currently?
We're on Johnson County F46, which is just south, of course, of the interstate of I-80, kind of creeping in eastward as we follow the line.
Yeah, let's go to Brittany real quick. Brittany, go ahead. You're at the anchor desk with us, kind of monitoring some of the news feeds.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
Well, the National Weather Service right now is indicating a tornado located near Oxford. Right now, a tornado located near Oxford, moving east right now at about 35 miles an hour. So, of course, that's down there in that Williamsburg area. You can see there on the radar how red that is, and of course, as Justin's been saying, it's moving fairly quickly.
That'd be Oxford, Mace. Let's do the track here, Aaron. We'll track this one out, and let's get us, after I do this track, get us nice and tight. I'll do a quick reset of the watches and warnings as we go to that graphic. I'll give you a chance to kind of zoom in that radar. So first, here is your storm tracker, Oxford, at about 3:39. So that looks clock about 5 minutes away. And you said that was off towards the west, correct, Brittany?
Yeah, it's located near Oxford and it's moving east right now.
Moving east. Justin, I want to just cut in real quick here. I just got a latest radar scan in again in our off-camera tool, and I'll show you that on camera here in just a second. But one of those latest updates showing just north of Tiffin, just a mile or so north of Tiffin, some very sharp increase in rotation. Wouldn't surprise me if we start to see a couple wall cloud reports, possibly funnels or more out of that. And that's that section that's headed right now kind of on a track that would put it just north of North Liberty over the next maybe 10, 15 minutes or so, and then continue on northeast just south of the Solon area if it were to continue on that track.
So that would cut it right across 965 around the Swisher, as well as the Shoeyville area. If you're talking a few miles north of North Liberty. We'll do our track here real quick around 3:39. Again, Oxford reports of tornadoes on the ground at this point around Oxford. We do have North Liberty at 3:55. Probably won't take that long, friends. So again, let's plan on if you're not already now, get to that safe space right now in Johnson, in Iowa counties, in Benton County. If you're not already there, get there. Let's take a look at the Shoeyville, as mentioned, 3:55, around Ely at 4:01. Now, let's do this. Aaron, I'm going to clear out of the radar real quick by going to our watches and warnings. We'll do a quick reset and we'll get a chance to jump in and kind of dissect that storm system around Oxford. Let's start out with that cell that's down to the south. Tornado warnings continue for Iowa County till 3:45, till Johnson County. We are in the clear right now for Cedar Rapids. Our warning has expired, but the tornado warning continues for Johnson County as well as Cedar County. That's till 4:15. We're on the air here on Fox 28 and on CBS2 and our radio partners down in Iowa City and Coralville, 1630 KCJJ AM. If you are having to travel, and if you are traveling to this area, if you know someone that is, get tuned into that radio. Keep yourself sky aware. Up in the north, till 3:45 for about another 9 minutes or so. Tornado warnings continue for Bremer County until 4 o'clock for Fayette County. And one of our photojournalists, Scott Cedar, is in the Fayette County area. He'll have some pictures for us. If you are in that Fayette County area, we're speaking of kind of Sumner towards Vandalia, Hawkeye, West Union, back up towards St. Lucas. be prepared. This storm system is heading your way, crossing over 93 right now and along kind of 18 as well as it works its way in towards the northern parts of that county right there in Fayette County. Keep yourself sky aware. Get to that safe zone or start thinking about it shortly. Let's go to our, very, very good idea. Let's take a quick peek out of our door here at Broadcast Park. I'll step off screen. Take a look at our Iowa City side cam if we have it real quick. And you can see just the very ugliness that is off towards the east there, Aaron, or excuse me, off towards the west is that, we're getting a little bit of clearing on the backside, but you can see as we kind of look right along I-80 there back towards the west, the lowered clouds and that activity. Mace Michaels is somewhere under all of that. We'll check in with him just rather shortly. But again, we've had reports of green skies in North Liberty, reports of just very muggy conditions, lots of hail being reported, and lots of kind of rotation as well.
Yeah, let's take a look at this photo here. This was just sent in from North Liberty there. You can see there right above that building, she actually captured that lightning strike. Can you see that there, Justin, on that monitor up there? That's in North Liberty. Right up there, right above you there.
That's it. That's what we're looking at over these next couple, really the next couple of minutes here. We're going to be watching that storm system pass over the North Liberty area, and it's showing some areas of very strong rotation. So after you take a picture like that, hopefully before you take a picture like that, head into the basement right now.
Yeah, this is something, we're not pussyfooting around here, kids. We're on the air for a very good reason. Let's do our, from the radars you can see around Tiffin back towards North Liberty. There's the winds away, and from the radar screen, that rotation is starting to pick up a bit just towards the west of North Liberty around Tiffin as well. We've had the reports, again, it was Oxford, reports of tornadoes that have touched down and were on the ground for a bit. No further details from that as of yet, but we'll try to get that to you. And as you can see,
tornado reported now in North Liberty.
All right, folks in North,
got that in just now.
North Liberty, safe zone right now. Take the weather computer if we could, please. If you are in North Liberty. 4 miles southwest of 4 Evergreen Road, most likely around the classification center, the Oakdale campus, most likely in between there, kind of back towards some of the where the interstate kind of crosses over there, where you go over 965 and Penn Avenue. Let's go to the computer real quick, the weather computer. Let's refresh your safety tips. Do right now. Don't hesitate. Grab the pets, grab the phone, grab whatever you need to do. Grab a radio. We have 600 WMC streaming as well. 1630 down in Iowa City, KCJJ streaming as well. Make sure you have a way to hear what's coming out from your local media source, including us here at Fox 28 and CBS 2. Get into a basement, a cellar, a closet. If neither one of those are possible, get into a closet or a hallway. As many walls between you and that storm as possible. As flat as possible. Grab a blanket off the bed. Grab an Afghan if you can. Cover yourself up. Stay as low as you can and wait for the all clear. The sirens are sounding this storm, with tornadoes reported, multiple outbreaks reported here, friends. Again, if you can't get to the basement cellar, you need to get to a closet, hallway, or bathroom. And we're talking specifically to folks in that North Liberty area right now. We're talking to you.
I just slapped on a couple of roads here too. So if you're watching us from the southern side of North Liberty and you live near Southern Jones Boulevard, for Evergreen Road Northeast, 12th Avenue extension, again, 27th Avenue, and kind of in between that Forever Green Road and I-80 area, definitely an area of concern. I'll clear these off the map, but that area of rotation we've been watching intensify very quickly. Not a huge surprise then that we did see some reports of a tornado on the ground. We were hoping that wouldn't happen though, Justin.
And again, let's those roads again. Here's 965 north and south. There's the Oakdale campus we were talking about up through North Liberty. 965 will wind you back in between Swisher and Shoeyville. It will also, you can see Penway, Forever Green Road, kind of the southern tip of that North Liberty area right there. And I do believe that's where our picture came from as well, with that lightning strike along Forever Green Road. The area we're talking about is right just off towards the west, about 3 miles outside of North Liberty proper at this point. Sirens are sounding. Get to that safe zone right now. Aaron, do we have the scope where we can kind of take a look at some of the rotation here?
Yeah, we'll throw that on here real quick right now. Again, here's what we're seeing on the North Liberty area. You can see some of the winds there. They're all showing up as green on the map. That doesn't necessarily mean there's no rotation going on. We'll zoom out just a little bit and try to catch some of this. Some of the rotation, again, kind of messy right now. We'll take that off of the map for now because our tool that we look at that's off camera is definitely showing some rotation.
Speaking of cameras, we do have Iowa Department of Transportation along that area right there. There is the camera. I do believe we are going, this is pretty close to North Liberty here. There's 380. You can see just the blackened sky. Look at the rain as well. Traffic, this is real time. Traffic slowed. looks like to about half speed on the interstate as well. So if you are traveling in that North Liberty area, you need to pull over. You need to just stop and sit this one out. Now, if you are encountering some of those strong winds, again, I know it's going to be kind of a messy situation, but you need to get out of the vehicle and get to a flat location if you can, because there are reports of tornadoes on the ground just towards the east of, or rather the west of North Liberty. Brittany, what do you have?
That is right now. That's the Forever Green Road.
Okay.
So that is what you're looking at there, right in North Liberty.
As it kind of crosses over towards that interstate right there. Aaron, this has been a very active afternoon, and this is just within the past hour and a half now is what this has been. And we're not quite done yet. We're focusing our attention here on the south. We haven't forgotten about you in northeast Iowa. Tornado warnings continue up there towards the north and the east. But let's kind of run me through what we're getting, what we're hearing on the air right now. Some reports of, again, touchdowns, strong winds and everything around that Johnson County area.
Touchdowns, large hail definitely over the North Liberty. We've seen a couple of reports now come in. One main concern too is that just the large scale of rotation we're seeing on the storm. So as we're zoomed in over North Liberty, it's not just that southern area that I'm concerned about, even though that's where we saw that report. This rotation, the region of rotation is actually large enough that there could be something toward the north there as well. We're waiting for some updated radar scans here to really confirm that. But south of North Liberty, there's an area of rotation. Also a little bit northwest, or at least a few minutes ago northwest. So most likely right now just north of North Liberty, seeing that area of rotation making its way there. So Justin's circling that. So if you are watching us from North Liberty, we saw the report of areas south of North Liberty seeing a tornado touchdown. Don't disregard this tornado warning though. If you're living north or in the downtown areas of North Liberty right now, definitely be taking shelter right now because we're still watching the storm system show some very strong signs of rotation, strong signs that it could produce additional tornado touchdowns.
All right, we're going to zoom out here, and the radar is laid on top of us. Let's just put some roads, excuse me, if you will, on North Liberty. Let's start, first of all, the main road. There's 965 north and south through North Liberty. And we'll go to Mace here rather shortly. Mace is just west of Iowa City. He's kind of watching this one from the backside as it moves in. There's 240th Street, Forever Green Road right here towards the southwest, Forever Green Road. And there's your main thoroughfares down to the northern part. Here is, Front Street continues to wind kind of through the Lake McBride area as well, past, some new developments out that way. As, it was very muggy, I can tell you firsthand, was sitting out in North Liberty this morning. Just the humidity was just kind of hung in the air. So we've got all the conditions, and unfortunately the conditions are right. We've had reports of tornadoes on the ground, in and around, kind of around the outskirts of North Liberty at this point in Johnson County area.
Yeah, that's right. And we're still kind of looking for some updates on this because we saw that report of a tornado. We haven't seen new information since then, which I guess is probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that means people are taking shelter right now. Hopefully not a large tornado by any means, just showing that sign of very disorganized rotation out there. And so if you are watching us from the North Liberty area, still looking for some updated reports from storm spotters out of this as we kind of zoom out there and you can see the broad view of the system. We're going to take you real quick back up to that other tornado warning up toward the north too. That one's starting to show some signs of rotation as well over the Randalia area that we were talking about just a little bit ago, that it looked like the rotation was going to move overhead. You can see Justin circling it there. That's kind of our next area of concern too, as we're waiting for some new reports over North Liberty. But if you are watching us from North Liberty, even though we switched out of your storm, again, we are still going to head back there as soon as we have new information.
All right, let's throw some roads on the map here. 150th Street up towards the north. You can see Highway 18 kind of cuts through northern parts of Fayette County. Maynard, again, just about 5 miles north of you folks. You can see Randalia back towards the Donnan area, and it is moving off towards the east and the north at about 45 miles an hour. So with that in mind, I'm going to clear the board with our marker real quick here, and we're going to zoom out. And it sounds like we're getting more information as we speak. So Aaron, you can go digest that. I'll grab the radar here real quick and put our tracker on our system to the north as we kind of map out what's happening now between portions of Bremer into Fayette County. As that storm moves at about 45, 50 miles an hour, it'd be around the Westgate area right about in the next 10 minutes, actually in the next 5 minutes or so at 3:49. Maynard, again, kind of towards north, you folks, 3:56. Donnan at 4 o'clock. Fayette, 4:02. Albany at 4:05. Lima at 4:06. And Wadena at 4:10. this storm system, one of many that we've been keeping our eyes on. I want to take you real quick. Let's talk about some of the lightning and the hail that we've been getting reports of here. Numerous reports of lightning, or rather of hail as well. And you can see around that North Liberty area where we've been focusing our attention, where we've had the reports of the tornadoes on the ground around that North Liberty area. Take a look at some of those hail signatures, at least potential. 1.5 inch, 2-inch hail in some spots. We've only heard at this point confirmed earlier with this storm system at about 2 inches size hail around about the size of an egg around portions of Williamsburg. Mace is just towards the west of Iowa City. Mace, we're looking at your stream. It just looks definitely ugly, and it looks like there's just a lot to digest here. So we'll let you set the record straight for us, Mace. Go ahead.
Well, watching in from what you guys have been saying, you've been talking about the Tiffin area, and this is exactly where we are now, coming off on the Tiffin exit here at I-80. Again, we're not seeing anything in the way of rotation or a wall cloud right now. I'm back in just a little bit further from the areas you were mentioning, maybe 5 miles southwest of there. So as we come up on in behind the storm, we'll let you know if we see anything in the way of rotation or a lowered cloud base, but I just haven't seen it as of yet. We had the hail and some of the wind earlier on, but nothing, at least with it so far, Justin. But we'll keep sending back the report for you, and of course, keep it on. We're going to come up to a clearing here in just a little bit, so I'll get maybe a little better shot. We're almost at the 380 and I-80 junction.
All right,
and that should give you a good sweep of the hot air, Aaron, give you a good sweep of the sky.
Yeah, well, as you're showing that video, what I'm going to talk about too is that on radar right now, some of the latest scans showing actually a decrease in the rotational intensity of that tornado-warned storm over North Liberty. So that would kind of fit with what you're seeing. And I've just heard a report from a resident of North Liberty too about no tornado, at least over their portion of the city. So that's some good news out there after we did see a few minutes ago the report of a tornado on the ground. Still showing some rotation again, just still over that North Liberty area, but not quite as tight of rotation as what we were seeing just a few minutes ago.
Well, and Aaron, I just saw a report from the Weather Service. They just sent it in. They said they had at about 3:42 a wall cloud near North Liberty, what you've been reporting. But back from where we are, I just can't see anything. I mean, obviously the base is very low. But there hasn't really been much of a spin. It's definitely nothing in the way of funnel clouds and tornadoes from our vantage point. But we're, like I say, 5 miles maybe southwest of the storm, and we'll try to get in a little closer here in just a few minutes.
Jay here, reporting a tornado crossing Highway 965 in North Liberty just minutes ago. So I'm not sure, Mace, where you are right now. I don't know if you're near that area or not, but we do have reports of a tornado crossing that Highway 965 in North Liberty. Just about 3 minutes.
Do we know, I mean, it's north 965, south 965, anything further on that?
No, let me try and figure that out here.
Let's tell you what, and we're on the air with KCJJ right now. Go ahead and clarify. If you can get more information on that, Steve or Tommy, do that for us and send it here to the newsroom. You can see it's just a very active setup, and it continues to have plenty of energy on the backside here as well. So where Mace was, you could clearly see where you saw that blackened sky. Let's go back to the stream, if you could, Aaron. Take me to that real quick and kind of show us, as we could see, just kind of blackened skies are where they're at, right about here, right about in that Tiffin area. So we're kind of looking up towards the north and east as that storm system is. Take a look at the stream. You'll see the blackened clouds in the dark sky, and there's plenty of energy here, Aaron, and it sounds like, go ahead.
I just heard somebody, I'm not sure if somebody was trying to yell some information over to us or not, but if you're hearing me saying this, repeat it again now.
Do that. All right, let's do this. As we are right now, it is about 3:50. Let's do this. Let's take a quick little pause here to kind of reset the scene as we go through our watches and warnings. We have tornado warnings, numerous warnings. You can take me back to the weather computer real quick. Here's our watches and warnings. I apologize, I just hit the wrong button here. Tornado warning for Bremer County has expired now, but we do have a tornado warning for Fayette County, and we'll pick up the conversation with the radar there shortly. That for Fayette County around the Donnan area, back towards the Hawkeye, Randalia, working its way towards the Fayette, in towards West Union, kind of moving up towards the north and east at about 45 miles an hour. That until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Towards the south, tornado warnings continue for Iowa County. That includes the Amanas back towards Williamsburg, Parnell. Reports of power lines down in Parnell. About 2-inch size diameter hail in Williamsburg. About egg-size shaped hail in the Williamsburg area a little bit ago. In the Johnson County area till 4:15, reports of funnel clouds, unconfirmed, but we're hearing conflicting reports of a tornado in North Liberty. We're going to keep you up to date on that. We'll check in with local authorities there and see if there's any truth to some of the reports that we're hearing out in North Liberty at 4:15. That tornado warning continues. Till 4:15 for Cedar County. That tornado warning continues. That does include the Tipton area. Back towards Clarence as well. Now, if you are hearing us and you do see your county in one of these watched and warned areas, tornado warnings, you need to take shelter in your basement or cellar. If you don't have a basement or cellar possible, you need to get into a closet, hallway, or bathroom as low as you can to the ground surface and as many walls between you and the storm as possible. Try to avoid, if you can, windows, rooms with multiple windows. It's not really a good idea to be in those. All right, as promised, we're going to go back to the radar here. And Aaron is getting more information, and we're looking at Mesa's stream that continues to get kind of worse and worse by the minute here. Aaron, go ahead and run us through what we're looking at here on the radar real quick.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is a jagged line of storms, all showing rotation as it makes its way through. So we saw that report of a tornado near North Liberty. Now that area of rotation moving northeast over towards the Solon area. So we'll zoom in there. So if you're over Solon, especially areas south of Solon, near Morse and east of North Liberty now, take shelter, but also starting to see rotation now as we head back further toward the west there. That's right near where Tiffin is. That's where Mesa is. And we've seen a little bit of rotation develop on the backside, on the southern edge of rotation out of this storm system as well. So Tiffin not quite out of the woods yet. You can see that little notch there. So we're seeing, again, a little bit of rotation near Oxford, Tiffin area, then back east and kind of over North Liberty right now, all with that southern cell, that all scooting toward the northeast. So both of those areas of rotation making their way toward the east over these next couple of minutes here. We're still watching Mesa's stream. We have that up in the background too, so we can keep a close eye on that. And something we just want to mention too, we've been getting calls on CBS and Fox about golf. We can't show that right now, again, because we do have this potentially life-threatening situation. We have tornadoes reported on the ground. This isn't just your typical tornado warning where you see reports of radar indicated. These are actually spotter-confirmed tornadoes, and we've seen several of these already over the course of the afternoon, Justin.
Yeah, for those of you calling in, we've said this once before, don't waste your time. Don't waste our time. Don't waste your time. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing just because you're missing your golf. This is much more important than watching a golf game right now. And I'm assuming most of you out there actually share my sentiment. So thank you for that. Let's go back to the coverage now. You're watching us on Fox 28 and CBS 2. And you're listening to us as well on the Mighty 1630 KCJJ down in the Coralville, Iowa City area. We're watching this system, North Liberty up towards Solon, that has been responsible for numerous reports of touchdowns, funnel clouds. We've had a report of a tornado on the ground, nothing confirmed as of yet, which could be a good thing. If we haven't heard reports, if we have heard no reports of damage, it could be a good thing. Again, we're still pretty young into this storm cycle here. We're going to keep our eyes on that. I want to go up towards the north and the east here a bit, and as we do that, we're going to take a peek at that storm system across the northern parts of the viewing area as well.
And that one actually, Justin, that one's showing some signs too of increasing in intensity again. Just a few minutes ago when we were showing it, it had kind of lost its edge a little bit, but now it's back a little bit more well-defined. As you're zooming in here, I'll just talk about, it looks like right now the area of most concern that I'm seeing would be kind of centered over West Union, within a couple miles of West Union, plus or minus kind of westerly. So if you just had like a circle around it, that's where I'm most concerned about right now.
And this is that area that Aaron's talking about, West Union. There's Highway 18, Highway 150 goes up towards the north around the Decorah area, up towards the Decorah area. And this storm system, we've seen it kind of roll through the Randalia area back towards Donnan as well. These are some of those very small areas that you don't often hear about. You don't even kind of see them on a map every once in a while. But reports of some strong winds, and as Aaron mentioned, kind of the bullseye, let's put it right about here between West Union and kind of over towards the Claremont area. That lay of the land right there is where some of those larger reports, or at least from our Doppler radar, some of those larger areas of rotation are continuing, and we'll keep our eyes here. That tornado warning does continue for Fayette County through, I believe, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Might actually get extended here because of that storm system just taking a while to move off towards the east. But as it moves off towards the east, both in towards Clayton County and up towards the southern edge of Alameda County, you need to start getting skyware as well. Start getting your plan in action. Kind of start thinking how you're going to move through the next couple hours as well as this storm system, very strong, very potent, continues to move through. Let's put some roads on the radar here real quick and kind of show you the lay of the land here as we zoom in just a little bit further between West Union and back towards Postville. Again, West Union up towards the north. There's 52 that will wind you through the Claremont area and back towards the north. You can see 150 as well. So there's Highway 52 right there. 110th Street in towards West Union proper down to the south. 240th Street as well. There you can see around the Claremont area back towards Montauk as well, where the mansion is if you've ever driven by there on 52. And then you can see around Postville some activity starting to pick up at a bit of intensity as well. And back down towards the south as we're looking at that Donnan area continue. So, Aaron, a couple storms we need to keep a very close eye on this afternoon, and we're going to let you take over the radar real quick here and kind of run us through what we're looking in the north as you talk about that rotation around that West Union area.
Yeah, that West Union area over the last couple of radar scans, as we zoom in a little closer, showing some signs of more tightened rotation, we can call it again, north of Fayette, right over West Union. So, kind of a messy storm. As we zoom out, you can see kind of where this computer system, at least, is starting to think it's seeing some of those signs of rotation. So as we look ahead over these next couple of minutes here, we're just going to continue to look at that area near West Union that's been showing that sign near Dover Mills, Claremont, in the path of this storm system as it moves toward the northeast, eventually kind of edging in on the Postville area, as Justin was just talking about just a couple minutes here. As we're just kind of zooming in there on West Union, again, we'll circle that area of rotation that we've been seeing kind of off camera here. And then as we look kind of on camera, you can see it's not really showing clear-cut signs right there. Actually, that area right now just finally updated right south of West Union. So that's kind of the area we're looking at right now. Any areas where we see those greens and reds in that little scope you're seeing on your screen right there, that's where we're seeing the inbound and outbound rotation, inbound and outbound winds that indicate rotation. This same storm system has produced some funnel clouds already throughout the afternoon today, several times, not just one or two times. We've seen numerous reports of these storms, even within the last about half hour or so. So it's still showing those signs of strong rotation out there, giving us the chance still for continued tornado threats outside over these last couple of minutes.
All right, Aaron, thank you for that. Let's go back down to the south as we continue to monitor this system around North Liberty, working its way towards Solon now into Mount Vernon. It's starting to, and we just actually was looking through some of the data here. We're getting reports of about an inch hail around the Ely area up to this point. Solon right on the southern edge of some of that most intensified moisture in that storm cell. And then you can see around West Branch some moisture picking up there as well. As it stands right now, we are nearing the top of the hour, so let's do this. As we near the top of the hour, we'll do a quick reset for you. We're going to start to see, hopefully, some of these counties work their way out of warning status. We've got that tornado warning in effect till Fayette County till 4 o'clock. I think that one is going to get extended a little bit, Aaron, especially as we see more of that rotational characteristic show up on the radar around that West Union area. And wouldn't be surprised if we see Clayton County, the far eastern edge of Clayton County, get added to the fold here as we watch that storm really not lose much of its intensity as it moves off towards the north and east. As it stands right now, that's going to stay in effect until 4 o'clock. Let's go back down to the south till 4:15. Iowa County, tornado warning. Johnson County till 4:15, and Cedar County till 4:15 as well. Here is the latest radar. We've been watching kind of multiple areas in the north and east and in the south and east. And we've got meteorologist Mace Michaels out on the road as well. Mace, at last report, you were joining us around the Tiffin area. Go ahead and set the scene for us as we bring your screen kind of full screen here. What's it look like out there where you guys are at, and where are you at specifically?
Well, we're north of Iowa City and Coralville, very close to the North Liberty area. And again, we haven't seen anything in the way of tornado touchdowns, obviously. A little bit of wall cloud activity, but nothing really that's dipped down. I mean, you've been watching our screen. There's been clearly nothing in the way that's looked like a funnels or tornadoes right now. Nothing in the way of rotation. We're going to sort of dip back around, head through North Liberty, and then eventually on up through the Solon area. I talked with one of our other chasers that works with us here at CBS2, Dan Gottschalk. He's riding along I-80, and if you guys get a chance to pull up his screen, he is also there and available for you through the afternoon. So Dan is out along with ourselves, so he's going to kind of pull out in front of this storm, and we're going to curl back on in behind it. But you've been watching the rotation. We just haven't seen anything here on the on the lower face of the clouds at all. Nothing coming around on a wall cloud side, Justin or Ann.
Yeah, Mace, what I've been noticing on radar over the last couple of scans here, right about where you guys are, what used to be 3 separate cells that then merged into those 2 separate tornado warned storms, that each produced an individual tornado. Now it's kind of merging into a larger cell with a couple smaller, less dangerous looking storms, I should call them, ahead of the storm. You can kind of see on radar right now, if you're listening to us at home, what we're talking about, but also Mace, if you're just north of Iowa City, you're kind of getting the new back edge of that storm system right north of I-80, right kind of in that intersection of 380 and I-80, north of Coralville and north of Iowa City.
Yeah, we're going to sort of hang out here, as you said, and let that little area cross us. I can see if my radar just updated here in the Road Warrior, and just west of North Liberty, and like you said, north of Tiffin. That's kind of that area you said where everything's kind of wrapping back around once again.
Yeah, so we're gonna be watching this one, and we're just zooming in there on it, and you can see kind of. I don't want to necessarily call it the last gasp for that storm system because it'll probably draw in some new air, but with some new cells forming on the front edge of this, it's starting to limit its time that it really could produce something. So we're going to have to watch this one very carefully over the next couple of minutes here.
We'll continue to kind of push northward here now. We've kind of turned off the road, and we're going to head on, where is it, David? Straight into Lake McBride, and then head on up northeastward from there over towards Solon.
All right, sounds good. It sounds like you guys were taking Front Street kind of north out of North Liberty, or am I thinking too far south for you?
Nope, exactly. We have to right on Front Street right now, and so you'd be looking, if you have the screen there, we're looking northeastward there from North Liberty here as we're coming up, as you said, Front Street and F28. So we're back in behind it. And again, the good news is I'm not seeing anything dipping down, nothing touching, nothing of your classic looking even wall cloud as of yet. So hopefully what Aaron was just saying, that the last gasp may have already happened with the storm.
That would certainly be good news, as this has been kind of an active afternoon, and for those of you who are waiting to get back to your programming, as soon as we get the all clear, we will return you to said programming, but until then, we're doing what we do, whether you like it or not. So we're going to keep you safe. That's what we are charged to do. That is our task, and that's what we will continue to do. 403, good afternoon to you, Justin Roberts, along with Aaron Schaefer, meteorologist Mace Michaels as well, the entire gang here from the First Warning Weather Center on Fox 28, on CBS 2, on 1630 KCJJ.com. Our tornado warning in Fayette County has expired now. We're going to keep our eyes on that system, though, in the north and east, as it still has a fair amount of energy and had a little bit of characteristics of rotation yet as it works its way kind of out of West Union, heading kind of almost towards the east and north through the Postville area and edging into Alameda County. We also have one warning that expired, tornado warning that expired for portions of the viewing area. That was in the Iowa County area. Our tornado warning continues for Johnson as well as Cedar counties until 4:15 this afternoon. A very active afternoon weather-wise, and for those of you home, we know it's a very active afternoon as well. Multiple graduations going on. We hope you're safe wherever you are. Let's talk about the storm system down to the south here that we're keeping our eyes on. And you can see from Ely towards Mount Vernon and around the Solon area back up towards Morley. Intensity still continues. Maybe not quite as much in the way of rotation, which is good news, but we're going to keep our eyes on it. And we're going to actually put the tracker on this as it's still a very serious situation. So our tracker with these storms moving off towards the east and north at about 35 to 40 miles an hour would put it again near that Ely area rather at 407, the Sutliff area, the smaller area there. 420, 421 in Lisbon, 423 in the Lisbon area, and 433 in Mechanicsville. Aaron, take me a little bit further south if you could here. Let's talk about some of that activity we were seeing is that kind of on the backside of that storm as it works its way out of that North Liberty area. Still has some of those stronger winds, but it looks like some of that rotation is kind of leaving the picture up to this point.
Yeah. We'll show a couple of velocities there. This is the one kind of remaining area where we're seeing a little bit of rotation on that southern edge of that cell, and that's why they still have that tornado warning kind of covering that as it makes its way across the area. Then, as we head a little farther toward the north, though, again, we just got some updated scans here on this northern cell, and they've actually let this cell expire tornado warning-wise, but we are still seeing some strong signs of rotation just east of West Union. We wouldn't be surprised, as we're zooming in here on that area of rotation, to see that warning get extended. But if you are watching us from West Union near Claremont, in between those two, Elgin, also seeing that area of strong rotation making its way across the area. You see that bright red color next to the bright green colors. That is not what you want to see. Again, as we've been talking about all afternoon, that indicates the areas of strong returns, strong winds coming toward the radar and away from the radar right next to each other, indicating some strong areas of rotation. So if you are watching us from that area, and we'll throw on a road there. If you're on Golden Road, or if you're kind of in between Harding Road and Golden Road, those are two areas of strong concern right now for that area, despite the fact that there's no warning on that storm right now. We are expecting that warning to get extended here, though, so that's kind of why we're talking about it. Just because there isn't a warning doesn't mean that we can't see a storm produce some dangerous winds and possibly tornadoes, too.
Yeah, we are not in the clear as of yet, friends, so don't take any of that as of what you're hearing. We still have tornado warnings that continue through 4:15, and you're looking at one of the cells right there that's responsible for said warning as it continues to work through Johnson in towards the Cedar County area. Let's kind of show you as we've got some new thunderstorm warnings as well, too. First off, the reason we're on the air and will be until these expire. Tornado warnings continue in the southern part of the viewing area, kind of south and east of Johnson County till 4:15, about another 10 minutes or so, and Cedar County till 4:15 this afternoon. A good chunk of the viewing area is still under a tornado watch until 8 o'clock this evening for Winneshiek County, and towards the south, the southern viewing areas, the tornado watch is continued through about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. So depending on your location, you'll still have that threat for severe weather, but it looks like as this storm starts to move off towards the east, it's taking a bit more of that energy out with it, which would kind of take some of those other factors that would keep us in this extended watch, taking those out as time being. Thunderstorm warnings continue as some of our tornado warnings have expired. 2 warnings now. In Lynn County, severe thunderstorm warning till 4:30 this afternoon. And lots of activity there. We'll take you back to the radar here in a second. Jones County, severe thunderstorm warning. Cedar County, you're under that tornado warning until 4:15. Then it becomes a severe thunderstorm warning. And back towards Iowa, as well as Keokuk counties until 4:30 this afternoon, severe thunderstorm warning. But there's the reason right there. We're still on the tornado warnings continue. You see it on the bottom of your television screen. And you see it kind of scrolling in front of your face right there at KGAN and on Fox 28. Peak of the radar, watching this cell right here as it continues to work its way north of Solon, up towards the north and the east. We'll zoom out here as we're starting to lose some of our energy here, which is a good thing. Around the Solon area, back between Ely and Swisher, that cell continues to move off towards the north and east. Mount Vernon just getting smacked with rain right now, and the potential for those stronger winds and hail that continue. Let's go up towards our tracker real quick and set this into motion. Folks in Olin, get ready. This activity is going to start heading your way. Moving off towards the east and north at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. So again, the new track would be Mount Vernon at 4:19, 4:20 at Sutcliffe, Lisbon at about 4:22, Mechanicsville at 4:35, and Stanwood at 4:36. So we'll keep you up to date on this as it continues to roll through the area. Wide view real quick as we're watching that cell still in northern parts of the viewing area. Now again, no tornado warning on this, but still has some of those characteristics and still showing in some of our radar scans some of that rotation that we've been watching ever so closely around far northeastern parts of Fayette County. And you can see it's kind of in the Quad County area there around Postville back towards the Claremont and the Gunder area as well. Something we'll keep our eyes on. Aaron, we still have our tornado warnings in effect till 4:15 this afternoon.
Over Johnson County. It's been canceled for Iowa County, but it's still going, at least as far as we can see with some of the latest information right now, over Johnson County and then continuing over into Cedar County. So still not quite out of our area just yet. At least now Iowa County is now out of that warning for now, and we're still kind of looking for some updated reports out of the storm too, as it's made its way kind of over the more populated areas. Haven't seen quite as many of those large hail reports as Justin's showing, as well as the actual funnel cloud and wall cloud reports that earlier were coming in pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's look at some of those lightning, still lots of lightning on the ground as well. And reports of that, we go down from our northern storm to the southern storm that has still a tornado warning on it. This does still have a tornado warning on it and will be in effect until 4:15 this afternoon. See, just towards the south and the east of Cedar Rapids, around Mount Vernon, back towards Lisbon, Solon as well. And we're keeping our eyes on that, what Aaron just mentioned a little bit earlier too, is south of Iowa City, around the Kelowna area now, kind of back towards hills. And you can see around Cosgrove and Sharon Center, some of those spots getting hit with some pretty heavy rain. But that main threat for tornadic activity, that main tornado warning, still in effect for Johnson County and for portions of that Cedar County area until 4:15 this afternoon.
Yeah, we're hoping as the storm really has started to show signs of diminishing that this warning will be canceled and people will be allowed to kind of resume their everyday activities outside for the Sunday afternoon. Because a lot of the rotation has started to show signs of weakening, despite the fact that there is still some very, very large hail showing up on radar, and I'm sure we'll also see some reports out of that kind of headed toward the Mechanicsville and Mount Vernon and Morley and Martell areas, and eventually east towards Stanwood and Olin, I should say, out of that storm system as well.
All right, at 4:11, let's do this. Let's do a final wrap-up, and we'll take you back to your programming here. As it stands right now, tornado warnings continue for another 4 minutes, but it looks like they will be allowed to expire. But do stay sky aware in portions of Lynn as well as Cedar and Johnson counties as that storm continues to move up towards the north and the east at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. So with that said, we'll take you one final look at the watches and warnings, and we'll send you on your way. Again, tornado warnings for the next 4 minutes continue for Cedar as well as Johnson counties this afternoon. And we do have that tornado watch that will stay in effect for a good chunk of the viewing area until 8, 9 o'clock tonight towards the north, towards the south, 7, 8 o'clock tonight. Again, it's all specific about location as well. All right, you've been watching continuous severe weather coverage on the mighty 1630 KCJJ on Fox 28 and on CBS 2. Stay sky aware. At 4:12, we'll send you back to your programming already.